What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, special education teacher, strength and conditioning coach, here to take the fear out of fitness. Guys, we're about to take off and class is in session. First things first. It's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to all the pioneers that paved the way for me to be able to be as great as I am. Shout out to all the pioneers that paved the way to make us all great as we are today. One of the things that we have to start recognizing is that everybody's path to greatness is different. Some people are going to come in and take it. Some people are going to be handed it to. But our greatness only comes by way of joining together, banding together and becoming great together, not exploitatively, not to exploit people, not to denigrate people, not to play mind games, but to actually utilize people with the sole purpose in mind of utilizing those people with the intent on allowing them to be the greatest version of themselves possible. Now, you see the title and the thumbnail. First thing we're going to do is, like I told you before, I'm going to start going in and making critiques of celebrity workouts. Now, what I'm also going to do is, again, I am not denigrating the trainer. I'm not even denigrating the athlete. I am going to state and comment on things from a physiological standpoint, from a purpose standpoint, and also from a standpoint of whether or not is this doable, is this viable, is this something that we all can aspire to achieve, okay? For the most part, 99 times out of 100, it's probably going to be a yes, from me at least, right? However, if it's not realistic, if I see comments on on things and I don't like what I saw, I'll say something. But for the most part, it is what it is, right? So I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to get live. Let's mute that, because I don't care what they talking about. Skip it. Okay, first thing, shout out to Men's Health, Fair Use. I am actually utilizing your video to critique certain aspects of this training regimen. This actual training regimen was specifically for Jake Gyllenhaal to train for Roadhouse. Now, I'm going to let his trainer talk a little bit, and then I'm going to have things to say about what he's doing. First thing is, what you know, if you have not seen the movie Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal is a former mixed martial artist who is now the bodyguard at a bar. And he's a bouncer at a bar, and all kinds of things go haywire. But you have to look at this from the guise of understanding that Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie is a former mixed martial artist, okay? So don't look at it if you're looking at it from a workout standpoint, you're going to be disappointed. Or if you're looking at it from a workout standpoint of, you know, getting swole or whatever, Jake Gyllenhaal is in shape now, don't get it twisted. But at the same time, it's not necessarily the same type of physical build that some of you might be looking for. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jason Walsh. I'm coming to you from my studio Rise Movement in Los Angeles, California, and talk to you about Jake Gyllenhaal, the training that we did for Roadhouse.
When I received the news that Jake got the role for Roadhouse, I was eager to sit down with him and get his vision and expectations.
What we're doing is real.
Yeah, look at your stomach.
Never been done before. It's real. Don't mess around.
So one of the things that I love about training people, specifically certain types of people, you know how hard you can go with certain people. Now, if Jake Gyllenhaal was Maggie Gyllenhaal, I'm not going as hard on her as I would on him, considering the immense amount of roles where he had to get physically in shape in order to perform those roles. Prince of Persia, several other movies where he's in the military, he's a boxer in another movie. All these movies where he has to show off his physique, but also utilize his physique in the movie to perform in those movies. You have to be in a certain type of shape, and people have to believe that you are capable of doing the things that you're doing in this movie. It's one thing to be a superhero, but you gotta do superhero stuff. You gotta be able to physically do, at least to a certain level, do superhero stuff. Even though he's not a superhero in this movie, he was also a villain in Spider-Man. What is that? No Way Home? No, Far From Home. He was Mysterio, so he had to be in physical shape to do a lot of these movies.
And don't do this at home.
I spoke with the stunt team to understand their needs. I spoke with the director and producer to understand their expectations. Not only did Jake need aesthetics, but needed to perform stunts across from Conor McGregor, a professional athlete.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he had to go toe-to-toe with Conor McGregor in this movie. So you gotta look like you can hang with Conor McGregor versus, if you just look like a regular dude, ain't nobody gonna believe that you beat Conor McGregor in any kind of fight, anywhere, anyhow, knowing full well that we all know who Conor McGregor is. On top of all of that, even if we didn't know who Conor McGregor is, looking at Conor McGregor, you know he must know or do something that he's not doing. If Jake Gyllenhaal didn't come into this with the level of seriousness that he needed to come into it with.
UFC, who has also never performed stunts on screen.
Hey, fellas. Looks like you're having a shoot.
So Jake needed athleticism, resiliency, and overall strength. This would also feed the mind and mentality he would need to get up after a fall, a potential punch or a kick.
I got a tip for you.
So what he's saying is that basically, if he got accidentally hit in the performance of doing stunts, he needs to be able to take it and get up as though he was affected, but not totally affected by it, if that makes sense. So like, for instance, I'm training for this movie and all of a sudden Conor McGregor hits me. Not saying that Conor McGregor won't knock me out, but what I'm saying is that if I were in his situation, Conor McGregor clocks me, I need to be able to take it and get up and perform as though it's just a part of the movie, as opposed to cut, ow, it hurts, as opposed to doing all of that. I need to be able to ultimately perform at such a high level where I can look the part. Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor, but looking at Jake Gyllenhaal stand in front of Conor McGregor, he doesn't look out of place, which lends to the type of training that he did for this movie.
Don't let no one get this close.
After taking all of this into consideration, I then had to sit down and build a program that would ultimately build the foundation of the Dalton character.
Hi, I'm Joe Delaney. Today we're going to talk about...
Let's skip all that. Now here we go.
Generally, we spend a few minutes each session moving, trying to get the core body to mature up before moving it.
Now, how old is Jake Gyllenhaal? If I'm not mistaken, Jake Gyllenhaal is at least 40, right? Jake Gyllenhaal is 44. So Jake Gyllenhaal is 4 years younger than I am. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Mobility is huge when we get to this age. You could be in shape all you want. You could lift all the weights you want to lift. If you're not mobile, it ain't gonna work. Fun fact. I've been having back issues because my bed was wearing me out. Now, not so much. I feel a lot better. It's been about a week since I actually purchased a new bed. And on top of that, I've been doing my treatments to getting me back to relative normal. It's only been about a day or so that I've been able to actually sit in a chair and not have my back fall into my scrotum, to be blunt. Sorry, Mom, but it's the truth. Okay? So even though resistance training is important, his flexibility is even more important. So during this filming of this movie, he was probably 42.
To help increase range of motion.
And yes, you could do the resistance bands. You could do stretches without any of these poles or these flexibility poles. You don't need all of this equipment. It's just nice equipment to have, put it bluntly.
The Proteus is an amazing piece of equipment used mostly by performance centers to help train athletes in every plane of motion and also to help increase power production. We use it primarily for priming the nervous system, proprioception, learning.
Now, I have never utilized this piece of equipment here, this Proteus contraption. However, what I will say is that I do see the purpose of it because he's driving in the hips, he's turning in the shoulders, he's basically practicing how to throw punches and how to throw them effectively, but also on top of that, throwing the punches with power, not necessarily landing on the target right now because he's not training to actually be in the UFC, but he has to train like he's actually being in the UFC to look the part, if that makes sense. So this machine that he's using is all good. The one thing that I would I don't know, because the rotation of the hips is fine. His driving of the shoulders and extending through and following through his punches is all well and good. I don't see anything particularly wrong with it. My only real concern is that if you're throwing punches, usually you're throwing them from a short stance. You're not winding up to throw punches. It might be a quick wind up, but it's never going to be a full-on wind up throwing punches when you're in a MMA fight, boxing match, or any kind of fight for that matter, unless you really are fighting people who are horrible fighters.
Patterns, and a lot for warming up joints and metabolic training.
See right here, he's over rotating to me. So right here in this particular exercise, to me, he's over rotating because he's never going to get that low, that wide, and that long to rotate that hard to actually hit somebody. I mean, rarely. I've seen Corey Garbrandt knock out somebody with a split second to spare where he actually went down and came back up like that. But that is so rare. I don't think you really have to train for that. That's just natural progression in your workouts. If you're training where you're actually trying to rotate properly, then what you will achieve is the capacity to over rotate and actually generate even more power if that's what you so chose to do. Now that movement, yes, 100%, I am all for it.
Isometrics are a staple here at Rise Movement. We use them all the time to help increase strength and stamina at different joint angles.
So isometric holds is important. So here's the thing with isometric holds. Isometric holds are important because no matter what strength levels you have, at some point in time, you're going to have to hold whatever it is that you're lifting, whether it's in the extended position or even in the contracted position. If it's a push-up or it's a bench press, you're going to have to hold it. If it's a pull-up, You're going to have to hold it in the contracted position, or you're even going to have to hold it in the extended position, your eccentric position, if that's what you want to call it. You're going to have to do that. So one of those things that people have to understand is that strength comes in 3 phases: isometric, concentric, and eccentric. So when you are training in those modes, how long do you think you're going to need to hold your isometrics? Well, in MMA, considering that you're trying to choke somebody or you're trying to snap a limb or two, you're going to have to hold isometric holds for long periods of time. It's not going to be for 30 seconds. Sometimes you might be trying to hold that position for over a minute, and your arms are going to burn. Your shoulders are going to burn. Your back, your glutes, your thighs, everything on your body is going to burn, especially if you're trying to force somebody to tap. Those isometric holds are huge. So his trainer, again, I'm not critiquing his trainer literally, but clearly his trainer knows what he's doing. He's no slouch. Not that he needs my stamp of approval, but if you're gonna get one, you're getting one from me, sir.
Most of the sets that we do are time sets. We try to keep his work capacity up, keep him moving, keep him sweating, keep burning fat. We still want the heavy stimulus, so we do a lot of heavy sled work.
So the sled work is resistance while moving in space in the raw position. So basically, it's going to be hard for him to be training, doing, MMA training with a weighted vest on. He can't grapple with a weighted vest on. It's not tenable, right? It can be done, but it's not logical, right? On top of that, the sled work causes him, it's resistance against himself. He has to crawl. He has to push. That leg drive is huge. And again, if you're an MMA fighter, you're going to need leg drive in order to take your opponent down. So if you don't have good leg drive, you're not going to take your opponent down. And if you can't legitimately take your opponent down, even if it's still acting, you have to look the part, and you have to have the capacity to show and demonstrate that you are legit in how you are performing these tasks, if that makes sense. Continue.
Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Stress, adapt, recover, on repeat for well over a year.
So this man actually committed to doing this for over a year. So I've seen comments where people are saying that, oh, he's on roids and this, that, the other. And I have to tell you, Jake Gyllenhaal does not have the physique of somebody that looks like he's on steroids. It looks like he's on work and good nutrition. For God's sakes, he's a very famous actor. He has the financial resources to get all the food and supplements he needs in order to perform at that level. And like his trainer said, it's a commitment. He's pushing himself day in, day out. You're making this man sweat. Look at it. He's in an ice tub right now. Why is he in an ice tub right now? Because he doesn't want to be so sore the next morning that he can't train at all. He can't push his body to the next level. Is he sore? I'm sure he is. Is he hurting? I'm definitely sure he is. With all the work that I just seen him do in this short span of time, and if this is on a day-to-day basis for over a year, yeah, he's hurting. And that ice bath is huge for him.
Discipline. That's patience. That's commitment.
I'm sitting here, and I feel a lot of gratitude, but I know that's a crazy thing to say.
Jake went into this movie full of obligation, honor, duty, to follow in Patrick's footsteps. It was incredible to watch. Incredible to see him morph into his character.
We always keep the heavy primitive work one way, shape, or form, whether it's squats or deadlifts, and the variations thereof. We want to keep the muscle coordination at a high.
So, depending on where you want to place your conventional lifts, right? Some people like to put it in the beginning. Some people like to put it at the end. Now, I personally like to put it in the beginning because that is when you're generating your most power, right? You're not worn out. you're not prone to as many mistakes, which can cause you to be injured. So my whole entire focus is not injuring my clients. I wear my clients out, make no mistake about it, but at the same time, my whole goal is to get out of the workout injury free. And if I'm going to put my clients through such physical tolls, I would like to actually do deadlifting and bench pressing, all the powerlifting movements. I would like to put that at the beginning, so that way they're not so exhausted that they're not able to perform, and therefore, like I said, potentially putting themselves in a situation of injury. If I am going to put them through conventional lifting exercises at the end of the workout, best rest assured it's lighter. Even though that they're exhausted, it's still work that can be done. So say for instance, if it were me, if I was going to put my conventional lifting workouts at the end of my workout, me bench pressing for 15 reps, I'd say 155. I bench press 155, 15 reps for 4 sets. If it were deadlifting, again, deadlifting would be 195, 200 pounds for 15 reps at the end. This is at the end again. I'm speaking towards the end. Squatting again at the end of the workout after getting my legs completely trashed, I'd say 135. I'm not going any heavier than 135 on squats after getting my ass handed to me in a workout. No, absolutely not. I would never do it. Not for me personally, no. Now, if you're stronger, of course, I'm going to increase the weight, but not to such ridiculous levels where it's not
Grip work
doable.
is essential, as it seems to be one of the limiting factors in the gym. We pepper in various exercises to keep grip.
So now, why is he working on grip strength? First of all, grip strength is important regardless of what work you're doing, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's MMA, boxing, martial arts, any form of training, grip strength is important. However, since that he is doing a movie about mixed martial arts, what I would say is definitely he needs to have good grip strength. Okay?
Tight. Here we see some examples more relatable to MMA training, keeping the body in check with offset loading and movements more imperative to sport.
So again, this is the MMA part where he's lunging with a heavy bag that weighs approximately anywhere between 75 to 100 pounds. I don't think he's going to turn around and do one that weighs $150. He might. I mean, he doesn't look like he's a slouch, so he might be doing 150. Who knows? But I'd probably be more willing to bet it's the 75-pound one. But again, leg drive, doing lunges. When you're in mixed martial arts, these are the types of things that you're going to need to do. And if you're going to look the part and be the part of a mixed martial artist, you damn sure better train like one. And these are exercises that I know for a fact mixed martial artists do on a regular basis. I mean, he's ripped.
It's important to keep the stimuli broad with variations of reps, sets, loads, and different tempos.
So variation of sets, loads, and different tempos. What is he saying? Basically, how many sets are you training? How much weight are you using? And what's the pace that you're using when you're training them? You vary it. You don't just keep it at one thing. You keep it at one thing at first, but for a guy like Jake Gyllenhaal, you can switch it up. You don't have to make it 1, 2, down, 1, 2, up, down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2. You don't have to do all of that. You can make it where it goes down, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, and make them do 10 reps. I promise you, the average person doing that, shoot, train people doing that, it's not easy. The average person is going to get trashed after one set. Promise you that. But if you're trained as well as Mr. Gyllenhaal here, I'm sure he could get through a good 3 sets of that, of 3 sets of 10 at that pace that I just lastly did. So the variations, the switching it up, all of those things are designed to stress the body in ways where it has to adapt. It's going to be forced to adapt, all right?
Animals are just everything to me.
Good Lord.
The diet part of this is really critical for maintaining and looking a certain way. It's not something that's sustainable, but it can be done with the right people in place. There's a big team that helped get us through this.
I want you to know what he said. A physique like that is not sustainable. Meaning, Jake Gyllenhaal cannot look like that all year round for the rest of his life. It's not realistic. Male or female, it's not realistic. Does that mean that you got to look like a doughboy? No, you don't. But that doesn't mean that you walking around looking like Captain America every day is going to be cool either. It's not tenable. It's not realistic. And I'm glad that he said it because, you know, when I say things, sometimes y'all think that I'm just blowing smoke. But I'm telling you, I have never met a bodybuilder that looked like their competition shape all year round. Never, ever, ever. Performance enhancements or not, never have I ever met anybody that looks like their ripped jack self all year round. Ladies especially, don't do it. You see a woman that looks like she's ripped to shreds and she's jacked, she's doing it for the camera. And I promise you, and if you see them in photos, and they're constant photos that you're seeing them in like that, I promise you they were taken over a period of time of a matter of a few months, maybe a couple of months, that they went on multiple photo shoots, multiple. So that throughout the year, they could post those videos or post those pictures of themselves in various settings, in various formats. So that way, all year round, it'll appear that that's who they are. But I promise you, they don't look like that all year round. 100%. And oh, by the way, this is why mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition comes into play. Because Jake Gyllenhaal committed to this a year before he actually even did the movie. So again, the movie was filmed in 2023, which means 2022 he began his training. Okay? That's that mindset and being held accountable. And his trainer's clearly encouraging him to continue. The money that he's paying his trainer also encourages him to continue. And last but not least, the most important thing is the nutrition.
Workout nutrition from Biotest, the Surge, really kept us going, gave us the fuel that we needed for these workouts. And the post-workout nutrition from Rise 311 Protein that started in the kitchen and ended up being a great product, so we got it out there.
You can have a great trainer,
Ooh,
great program,
chain push-ups.
great team. None of this matters if you don't have the right person to do it all. Jake did the...
So each one of those chains are 25 pounds apiece. So if he has both of them on there, he's adding an extra 50 pounds to his frame as he's doing these push-ups. As he goes down, it gets lighter, but as he pushes up, it gets heavier. Okay? And like they said, chain push-ups are a great chest finisher. I like anything with chains, to be honest with you. Chain anything is great training. Great training. Great on your explosiveness. It makes you feel more powerful in your ascent of any exercise. So if you're doing a squat, if you're coming up, when you go down, at first it feels heavy, but as you get lower, it feels lighter. But as you come up, it feels heavier and heavier. You got to push hard. All right. So I want y'all to understand that. All these things are realistic things that as a trainer I would do, especially if I know that this is the role that he's going for.
He earned it. He deserves it. I respect that. Cross-lateral loading is very important to all sports.
Now this is dope. Suspension training, which is the TRX bands, while doing training. Oh, the amount of things I can do with a TRX band is crazy. All right. And I'm TRX certified. Hopefully anybody with a TRX band is TRX certified. And these particular instruments are very, very useful. This exercise that he's doing right now is a push-pull exercise. So basically what he's doing is he's pulling with the left hand and pushing with his right hand. And all while going against gravity, which makes it that much more functional, especially from a mixed martial artist standpoint, because remember, you're not always going to be punching standing up. You might be punching on your back. You're not always going to be punching from your knees. You might be punching on your back, or you might be trying to rise up to get out of that position. And if you do not have the core strength nor the ability to fight your way out of it, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt real fast.
The MMA fight training. These come in various forms, but this is one of my favorites. We keep things in balance with push-pull rips.
Again, you don't get that low to throw a punch. I would make sure that he gets low enough, but not so low where his knees is touching the floor. Because very rarely are you going to be throwing punches where your knee is coming from the floor and you're extending up into it with that much velocity. You're not really going to do that in an actual fight. So I personally would actually like to train people closer to the movement. Now, is the push-pull exercise legit? Again, his trainer knows what he's doing. I'm not suggesting that he doesn't, but what I'm suggesting is that the realism of the movement is not particularly legit in that regards, because he's never really going to find himself explosively punching from that position. If he were to stand still, get a little low, drop down, maybe bend his knees, maybe a 35, 45 degree angle, and then explode from that seems more realistic. But from a 90-degree position all the way into an explosive punch, highly unlikely. You're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're punching from that position from a biomechanical standpoint. It's not tenable. Now, if you are ducking down and you have to slide as if you're mimicking a wrestling shoot, and then you explode back up to punch them, basically to fool them, maybe it might work, but legitimately, most people won't even try to attempt stuff like that on a professional. They won't. So I don't know why we even remotely try that.
Followed by my favorite, some primitive climbing sprints.
Climbing sprints are nice. And those burn. 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 6 rounds. So basically, you're basically on for 6-2 is 120. So 2 minutes to 4 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes. And you get basically 3 to 4 minutes off, which is actually enough time to, again, you're going to be tired. But he's constantly moving, so he's not, the 30 seconds off is not him getting off the machine. Oh, by the way, so let me reiterate that. The 30 seconds off is not him getting off of the machine. He's moving, he's still moving. It's just that during that time frame, he's going hard for 20 seconds. And then after that, he's trying to catch himself for 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden, he's going hard again for 20. And then again, off for 30, hard for 20. So he never gets off that machine until he either reaches round 6 or round 8. Okay?
This is Jake and I right before the UFC weigh-in in Las Vegas. Taking a little bit of sugar, get a lot of reps in, push-ups, sit-ups, and voila. Your muscles swell up. So for those of y'all who don't know, your muscles are carbohydrate straws. All the while he's training, he's only taking in enough carbs to actually perform and stay awake and stay conscious, but he is not ingesting an excessive amount of carbs to where his physique is going to be compromised, where he starts gaining body fat. That's not what he wants. He wants to look the part of an MMA fighter about to get in the ring, and somebody that is constantly on go. So therefore, he needs to look like he's ready to fight at any given point in time. So, like he said, the trick is, one of the biggest tricks in any type of physique sport or sport that requires physique to be apparent is when you get to the scene of the shot, you have to actually ingest sugar to give your muscles a little bit more pop, so that way when you get on screen and when you get on the show, your muscles are good. Now, obviously, they don't care how much he weighs, or else if they were considering or caring about how much he weighs, they probably wouldn't give him the sugar and the water right just yet. They'll let him get on the stage, get on, weigh himself, and then once he's achieved the goal of his weight class, then all bets is off. He eats, he gets his sugar levels up. His body fat percentage will probably increase about 2 to 3%. And then after that, all bets is off. So then he's going in to train, he's going in ready to go. All right. So this is all legit.
And look full.
Like you said, look
Jake
full.
For years prior, I knew he had what it was going to take to make this plan work.
Jarhead was the other movie.
Dedication, discipline,
Southpaw, yep.
Consistency, and hard work.
Okay.
The mental fortitude, the
Covenant,
level of patience
yep.
it was going to take. Unless you've trained like this, you just don't understand. To take the long road, to take the hard road, to take the high road, to do this clean, no shortcuts. But what you earn, what you gain along the way by taking these roads is unlike anything else. It's yours. You built it, you earn it.
So, shout out to Men's Health for that video. And like he said, doing it right, doing it clean, going hard. One of the biggest things that I can't stand is when people act like they know what somebody did to get where they got to. That I don't like. I don't like that at all, because far too many times I'm seeing it with professional wrestlers who have changed their physique over time, and they're being accused of being on roids. You don't know. Were you there when he or she injected themselves with whatever they took? Were you there? Were you their supplier? If you were none of those things, guess what? Mind your business. You don't know. Stop talking and speaking on things that you don't know. Now, granted, there are some times where you are clearly going to have more knowledge than not, that somebody may or may not be natural. But looking at Jake Gyllenhaal, does he look unnatural to you? Does he have freakishly large muscles compared to his physique naturally? No, it looks like he worked his ass off. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is legit when it comes to his training. I think actors like Keanu Reeves are legit. If he needed to get bigger, I know they all can get bigger naturally. I don't think they all have to go through this, oh, I took roids, because they're not in a level of physique where they look like they don't look like themselves. For instance, Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman gets swole for his Wolverine roles, but he doesn't look so far beyond his physical self that it just looks weird. It's not like you strapped on Jay Cutler's body on, on Wolverine. That's not what happened. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, for instance, Chris Hemsworth gets pretty big to be Thor, but he doesn't look so out of sorts that it just does not look like it's a part of his body. Like, he didn't build that. So when I hear people turn around and say stuff like, "Oh, they're on roids, they're on PEDs," unless you're their supplier, unless you're injecting them, unless you're there as they're taking those PEDs, keep your mouth shut, for the love of God, because you don't know what you're talking about. All right. Next, Dank Demoss. So when I did the Dank Demoss video last week, what I did not know is exactly how much she weighs. Now I know. This woman is almost 500 pounds. And you thought that you were going to get into a Mercedes-Benz or any type of sedan comfortably? You thought that you were going to actually mess with this man's vehicle and he was just going to be okay with it. Let's say his car failed him. Let's say his shocks failed him because you were in his vehicle. Were you going to be willing to pay for the damages to his vehicle? Would he have had to sue you for it? This is part of the reason why I'm not a fan of false positive body imagery. I'm not for body shaming. I'm not here to make fun of her. But let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real here. If she legitimately damaged that man's vehicle, getting into his car, stressing out the front shock, stressing out the back shock, stressing out stressing out the fact that his bumper, his back bumper or his rear bumper might actually be scraping across the ground. You don't know. We don't know. But to suggest that it's unfair to not accommodate somebody of that level of obesity, I don't buy it. And I'm not going to buy it. I'm not body shaming. I'm not saying that she is undeserving of love, care, and support and respect. As a matter of fact, I think the man was very respectful in suggesting that she gets a larger vehicle. It's one thing if he was just like, I ain't taking you. Don't get in my ride. Not your big behind, nope. Now, if he was doing stuff like that, yes, he deserves to get sued. He deserved to have lost his job. And that's the other thing. This man lost his job. For what? For your ego? I hope he sues you for loss of job and loss of revenue. I hope he sues you. Because you, number one, nobody would have known that he denied you this vehicle. Now, if he took your money after showing up, he just said, bye, I ain't picking you up, and I'm taking this money. Yes, absolutely should be sued, absolutely should lose his job. But he said, ma'am, you're not going to be comfortable in my vehicle. You're the one who kept trying to dig for information. Keep trying to ask, why can't I get in your vehicle? Why would I not be uncomfortable? Why would I be uncomfortable in your vehicle? Why are you asking? The only mistake that man made is that he answered her questions. Ma'am, given the scope of my vehicle, it will not be a comfortable ride for you because I have a lot of issues with my vehicle. And being that I have a lot of issues in my vehicle, it just won't be a comfortable ride for you. Ma'am, I'm going to cancel the ride. I would suggest that you find another ride, and God bless you. Have a good day. Good night. But what about, nope. Not answering nothing. I don't answer questions. I accept or deny rides. And I have the right to accept or deny a ride. Period. Now, if I have a history of just denying black folks rides, then yes, that's discriminatory. If I'm just flat out refusing anybody of any size larger than normal a ride, then okay, we have a problem. But you, ma'am, as a matter of fact, let's get real. Let's get real, because I'm going to get real. Okay, let's go to the video. Let's go to the pictures, right? And let's start with this one. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna pull up this picture real fast. Okay. Before I get into all of these. Okay. What vehicle is that? Anybody with two eyes can tell you that, my friends, is a Chevy Suburban. She is not sitting in the vehicle. I just want to note that. Every picture I've seen of Dank Demoss, she is not fully seated in the vehicle. But look, she is in an all-utility, full-sized SUV. And she is taking up the whole entire door. The only parts of the door that are not covered with her body is the parts that are beside her head. The space where her head would be. That's it. Okay? Let's go back. Let's do this. Here's another video. Here's another picture of her. Here she is sitting in what? That is not a car. That's an SUV. Look at where her body is in relation to the car. Okay? Okay, this woman is sitting in the back of a hatchback. They got this woman in the back of a hatchback, but she's offended by being denied a lift ride. Make it make sense. Here we go. Here's another one. Shorty is sitting in a minivan, right? She's sitting in a minivan, and look at where the steering wheel is. You think she's driving comfortably in anything? This is the difference. This is when we have to look people in the eye and tell them the God's honest truth. You out of pocket. Not because you're big, but because if you're going to be this way, you have to understand that you are outside the realms of the extremities of normal. You are even outside the realms of extreme normal. Extreme normal is 6'6", 300 pounds. Anything outside of that is cartoonish in people's eyes. Have you ever met Shaq? Have you ever met an NBA player over 6'6"? Let me explain something to you. It's cartoonish to see a human being that tall. I've met Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing is 7 feet tall. It's crazy. My son is 6'6". My next door neighbor is 6'4". His son is 6'7". I met Josh Childress. He's 6'9". Cartoonish in height. It's like you just can't fathom it unless you physically have seen it. You can't imagine it. I'm telling you. So anything outside of the realm of 6'6", 300 pounds is cartoonish. And you, ma'am, are 200 pounds beyond cartoonish. You're a whole... So let me put it like this. If I'm doing my math correctly based on statistics, you're a whole 5 standard deviations past normal. 5 standard deviations. Not 2, 5. Because why do I get 5? Because within the standard deviation, which would mean that you're falling in within the levels of the 2 standard deviations, right? So you got to go outside the norm and then go 2 standard deviations to get within the norm, right? So that's 2. Then you go 2 standard deviations outside the norm to get to 300 pounds. As a man, mind you. Then you have to go back into the standard deviations again in order to get the whole extra 200 pounds that you are past the 2 standard deviations. You are 5 standard deviations past normal, and you expect somebody to treat you like you are normal? Make it make sense. That's like having a genius for a child and just teaching them his ABCs. After they wrote a thesis paper on the theory of relativity at the age of 5, but you're trying to teach him his ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Make it make sense. Stop it. This is why we have the problems we have in our society today. Because everybody feels entitled to a certain level of treatment that they are not privileged to. They're not. You're not. You are outside the realms of normal. You want to be treated as though you're normal, but you're not. You're not normal. So stop acting like somebody needs to treat you as though you're normal. It doesn't mean you don't need to be treated with respect and dignity, but stop acting like you're normal. Michael Jackson knew he wasn't normal. Michael Jordan knows he wasn't normal. Mike Tyson knows he wasn't normal. And I'm not talking about from a personality standpoint. I'm talking about the gifts and talents. The man was knocking out grown men as a boy. He's not normal. Michael Jackson was moving like Michael Jackson as a teenager. That's not normal. Michael Jordan had a 48-inch vertical. He knows he's not normal. For the love of God, please stop. And now I move on to this.
Oh, you like hog the weight.
Wait, sorry, I'm not even done with myself.
Oh, you like hog the weight.
You didn't even like ask me.
You've been using cleans for like 20 minutes now. Like these affect everybody.
This gin Karen has run out of patience.
You're on your phone. It's kind of taking the 20 minutes of work out and 20 minutes of sitting on your phone if you believe me.
So now, in all fairness, I think they're both wrong. So for one, when people are new to working out, they don't understand that there are people waiting to use equipment. And if you're going to sit there with a piece of equipment and hold on to it for an hour, 20 minutes, well, basically in her case, 20 minutes, and you're sitting down playing on your phone for most of that time, nah, that's not a good look. So if you, let's say you're lifting, you put the weights down, you got on your phone for a hot minute, Then after that, you got back up, you got to the weights, put it down for a hot minute, and you got on your phone, and then this woman wants to come in and try to take the weights. No, absolutely not. Unacceptable. As a matter of fact, I'll fight you for them. Not as a woman, but I'm saying I'll fight you for them. But if you see that you're just sitting on these weights like a hen, why isn't it okay for her to take them? Why would it not be okay for her to take those weights after waiting for them for over 20 minutes? If you have a routine going on, the average routine with one set of weights, nobody uses the same weights for a whole entire hour. I'm just going to let you know that now. There's so many pieces of equipment that you could be using in the gym that you're not going to use a set of dumbbells for an entire hour. If you're doing dumbbell curls and some hammer curls, you could knock out all of that. The routine, that's what, 20 seconds plus another, let's even give the woman grace because she's not used to being in the gym, a minute and 30 seconds. Okay, so you're looking at 2 minutes per set. So a total of 2 minutes per set, that's 3 sets. So you're talking about 6 minutes, 12 minutes to get through bicep curls and hammer curls in a relatively normal fashion. 12 minutes is a reasonable enough time. 20 minutes, a little excessive. Now, if you decided to do some extra work with it, like shoulder presses or whatever, now look, lady, you're gonna have to wait. But first thing is, you didn't bother to talk to her. Say, excuse me, ma'am, you've been on your phone more than you've been lifting. I need to get in on this. Do you mind if I share? Can we share them? That would have been more appropriate, but just to take them was out of pocket. I think that woman knew or felt like she could overpower her, and it was more of a bullying tactic as opposed to unreasonable behavior. So, especially if you know the person's new in the gym, be like, excuse me, ma'am, check this out. Can I talk to you for a minute? Listen, I need to get this workout in, and these weights, I actually kind of need to use them. You've been literally sitting on your butt for 20 minutes, not really working out, but playing on your phone. If you don't mind, I would like to use them, but I would like to use them in conjunction with you as opposed to me just running off with them, because I'm sure you have intent on using them. So what I would like to do is, can I use them for a set and I'll put them down? And if I see that you're not ready to get into your next set, I'll grab them again and use them. And then when you're ready, you'll use them. And then immediately after that, I'll come back right behind you and use them again. Can we do that? Now, if she's unreasonable on that level, then guess what? We're going to have a problem, because I'm definitely going to take the weights after that. Because no, you're not going to be unreasonable on top of being a pain in my behind in the gym. So yes, I think they're both wrong, to be honest with you. Now, this one here, boy, hopefully it's a joke. But
can't get it back up, all you need.
So here we go.
If you're ever training without a spotter and the weight is crushing you and you can't get it back up, all you need to do is push it up, re-rack it, and you'll be totally fine.
Shout out to I'm 6'7", because this is his video. But I'm gonna critique what this woman said. Are you freaking stupid? This woman is dumb. This woman is dumb. Because if the weight is crushing you, either A, you're too exhausted to lift it, or it was too heavy for you to lift in the first place. How do you sound talking about re-rack it and you're totally fine? You're going to need help. Call for help. Your best bet is roll it down your body if it's not too heavy. If it's way too heavy, then no. If you're talking like 300, 400 pounds you ain't re-racking anything. You need to call for help. And God forbid you're by yourself, because you ain't gonna make it. You better slink your way out that bench and let that bar fall on the bench as you slide out from underneath it. If you're by yourself. But this notion of re-racketing, you'll be totally fine. The height of foolishness. That is the height of foolishness. You, ma'am, just stop, please. For the love of God, don't do it, please. Now this one right here. This one right here is crazy. So first mistake, held your breath all the way through. Once you got it to a certain point, you should have inhaled, exhaled, inhaled again, fight for it. Just quick. That would have been better than you holding it and then having the nerve to scream out the top of your lungs after you're done. Not bueno. All that blood rushed to your head, passed out. He's lucky he hit that bench. He still smacked his head, face falling forward, but a lot of that momentum was killed by him hitting the bench first. He could have broke his back if he fell wrong. And then he went into a convulsion halfway through. And now he woke up. First of all, he didn't nail the lift because he didn't put it back down. He dropped it. Now, in all fairness, knowing that this isn't a competition, I'm not going to rag on him too badly. But if you're in a powerlifting competition and you deadlifted that, put it down. Don't drop it, because that's exactly how you fail the lift. Is the minute you get hype and you drop it because you know you got up, it's not just to get up, but you got to get right back down with it. So do not do that. And then, so think about it this way. His diaphragm is compressed. His whole entire abdomen is compressed. So now you're pressing on the descending aorta. You're inhaling. You're holding your breath. So now all of that blood is sitting in your head. Then on top of that, you drop the weight and scream, which totally drops your blood pressure in your head, makes you dizzy, and you go down. So don't do that. It's just that simple. Do not do that, because and that was it. Okay? So please don't do that. If you're going to powerlift sensibly. If you're going for PRs, make sure you have people around you. If you're going for a PR, especially when you're deadlifting, make sure you're using good breathing techniques and make sure you're using all proper lifting movements at the same time, because it could get bad. Now, my last video before I land this plane is the video of a gym creep. I told you, not only are men gym creeps, but women are gym creeps as well. And in this video, it's insane because it's wild, because this is crazy.
Whoa. Hey. Obviously legs. Can I help you? No, thank you. No, thank you. Let me go help her. I'm seriously good. I have a partner. What's going on? I got a partner. Thank you. You got an issue? I'm just trying to talk to you. She don't want to talk to you. Thank you. Bye. Have a great workout. You good? I'm gonna finish my over here. All right. Thanks, sis.
So, here's the deal. I'm going to say this once, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it until y'all fellas get it. Did you not notice her energy the minute? First of all, you touched her. You touched her, right? You didn't say, "Excuse me, miss, can I talk to you for a minute?" You just, "Excuse me, can I?" And then you touch her. She's ignoring you, bro. She clearly doesn't want to talk to you. And on top of that, she was in the middle of her set. She's in the middle of her set, dude. You couldn't wait until she stopped. And then on top of that, can I work out with you? Really, dude? You don't know this chick's routine. You don't know what she's about. You're just trying to get in her drawers. You're just trying to get in. You're trying to get with her. I get it. She's a beautiful woman. There's no shame in that. But the problem is that you don't know. And fellas, I'm telling y'all right now, those of y'all who are in the gym and you see something that you like, let me explain something to you. There's nothing wrong with liking a woman in the gym, or a guy for that matter. There's nothing wrong with it. And women too. When I say fellas, I'm talking to everybody. However, my heterosexual men, you see a woman working out and she ain't paying you no mind at all, don't even bother. Or I've been told by many women, wait until I'm done. Wait until I'm done with my workout. Maybe then come talk to me briefly because maybe I'm not feeling you at all. Just turn around. And, you don't got to be Mr. Don Juan, Mr. Smooth all the way through, but you got to be just respectful. "Excuse me, miss. I saw you earlier. I figured you was in your middle of your workout, but I think you're a beautiful woman. I would like to get to know you better, and I would like to take you out. Would you mind?" That simple. She says no, keep it pushing. She's not interested. She might be a lesbian. You don't know. But you making assumptions like, I'm just trying to talk to her. And then all of a sudden, shorty pushed up on you. "Yo, can I help you?" Now you feel stupid. "Man, I'm gone. Oh, y'all too much. I'm gone." So when she turned around and said, "Whoa, that didn't let you know that you violated?" Let me go through it again. "Excuse me, okay. You touch her. Whoa. She's already perturbed. You already messed up. You might as well stop right there, because she ain't feeling nothing you got to say at that point." You see that look on her face? You see that look on her face? Guess what? She ain't feeling not a thing you saying after that, buddy. She's irritated now. Okay, let's keep moving. What you working on today? See, you already started off lame. You started the whole conversation lame. What you working on today? Clearly glutes. Them hip extensions is clearly working those glutes. Clearly lower half, clearly legs. Why are you asking dumb questions? If you're even going to go in, if you're going to go in smooth with that one is, "Ma'am, I clearly see you working on your legs because, it clearly shows that you work hard on them. But I would like to also ask you a question. Would you mind, having a conversation with me after you're done with your workout? I look forward to talking to you afterwards. Have a nice night. Have a nice day. Have a nice afternoon. Be safe." Something. But y'all want to be like, "Well, what are you working on today?"
Obviously legs. Can I help you?
"Can I work out with you?" My boy, again, lame. "Can I work out with you?" Really? So you woke up today and figured, I don't know what I'm working on today, so I just need a workout partner, and I'm just going to ask a random female to work out with me. Or can I work out with them? Really, dude? Knock it off. Same thing with female. If you turn around, "Can I work out with you?" No. Unless, if I don't know you, no. Why you want to work out with me? Do you know what I do? Do you know how I train? Do you know how I go about doing what I do? And the same question goes for her. Do you know how I go about my business? can I work out with you? You doing everything that I'm doing today. You gonna do these hip extensions to get your glutes tight. Is that what you're doing? No. Most men don't do that. So that's not even a thing. So knock it off. But anyway, let's keep going. No, thank you. Well, can we just talk? Well, can we? First of all, you could have started with, can I talk to you for a minute? She said no, thank you. That no, thank you should have already let you know there's no interest in you whatsoever. But here you go trying to push because you think women are playing hard to get all the time. No. Rule number 1. Woman says no thank you, let it go. Let it completely go. And if she's upset by how easily you let it go, should have let you know from get-go that she's not for you anyway because she's already playing mind games with you, dude. Women, when they're interested in you, let me explain something to you. When women are interested in you, they will pay attention to you. They will watch you. They will come talk to you. They will know everything they need to know about you before they even talk to you. As much as they can get. They'll get all as much information that they can get from everybody else around you but you before they talk to you. If she was interested, no thank you would have never came out of her mouth. The minute no thank you came out of her mouth, I'm gone. Done. Even if I came in lame like that, done. The conversation's over. All right, ma'am, you have a blessed day. Out. Can we just talk? No, can you not take no for an answer? And I'm gonna land this plane now. When we're dealing with us in our society right now, Jake Gyllenhaal is demonstrating to you that 1, he earns it. Dank Demoss is clearly demonstrating to you her level of entitlement. The gentleman at the end of this live stream is clearly demonstrating to you he feels entitled to a woman. You're not entitled. You're free, but you're not entitled. And one of the things that we all have to understand in this world is that even when it's free, even when you're free to do something, it costs you something. It will always cost you something. So do not ever think that your freedom means that you are of no cost. Freedom means you have free will to do as you see fit, but freedom ain't free, baby. And you approaching women like that, you going about living your life a certain way, and you going about your life assuming that everybody lives their life like you and that they must be cheating in order to accomplish anything, is a poor and terrible mindset to have. So, guys, what do you think? I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best. You.